everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of the Philosopher King podcast. Super excited to introduce my guests this evening. But before I get to that, I just want to remind everybody that every past episode, as well as this one after it's aired, will be at phoneboothpodcast.substack.com, where you can find not only the Philosopher King podcast, but the Phone Booth podcast, which airs on Mondays, and the Here's the Thing podcast on Tuesdays. And then somewhat more sporadically, there's the Dualistic podcast. And then the Pick Is In podcast, the sports betting podcast that comes out on Saturday nights right before the big football Sunday game day. But I want to introduce our next guest. They themselves have a podcast. Just a really great, chill couple guys. You've probably seen them in the chat of our main live streams with the boys, with the Phone Booth boys. But just really cool dudes. They had us over on their podcast on Sunday. We had such a great conversation. I was like, gentlemen, you must join me. So without further ado, with great pleasure, here, Zakk with This and That podcast.
What's up,
gentlemen?
Man? How's it going?
It's an honor.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And cheers to your unofficial podcast, unofficial sponsor of your podcast.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. But no, yeah, I think it's gonna be a good conversation. We had a good time with you guys on Sunday. I have not laughed that long and for that long in a long time, man.
Yeah, it's so funny because we talk about a lot of really heavy stuff at times, and a lot of stuff that is kind of like mind bending in terms of perceptions of reality and challenges to those perceptions. But because you got like goofballs like Vince and like guys with that really dry, quick wit of Snoop, and like you have all these different comedic personalities coming through, that it's just a really good balance between that serious and the chill. It's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So now you guys have had your podcast for what, like a year and a half, 2 years? Where are you guys at?
Go ahead, Zach.
I want to say a year and a half. Pretty close to a year and a half.
Oh no, we're going I think it's late January or early February will be 2 years.
Oh really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, time flies, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, well, it was such a great conversation. I figured we'd continue here. So
Yeah.
I love it. So now what brought you guys, the two of you, together to start your podcast? Like, have you guys known each other since you were like way back throughout your whole lives, or has it just been something that developed over time, or what's the story?
Actually, I moved out of my hometown, moved to Madison, and then I ended up getting a job, and then I ended up meeting Josh, and then it was like a couple weeks into the job, I got put with him for I think we were just loading down a house or something,
Okay.
and he just asked me, "You like conspiracy theories?" I looked at him and I said, "Which one?" And then ever since we, that was it, And then I think a year later, he asked me if I wanted to do the podcast, and I said, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it." And I met some awesome people doing it, so I wouldn't take it back if anyone asked me if.
Yeah, I love it. Isn't it funny how you can sense on somebody if they're like a free thinker, out of the box thinker, conspiracy theory minded, at least open to those things,
Yep.
We're unicorns.
It's
We're all unicorns. You, Ted, Vince,
Yeah.
everybody who is like awake and actually knows what's going on. And I'm not talking about like Black Project type of things. Like that stuff gets pretty deep and most of it's classified anyway. But like just the other, like the stuff that's kind of been released from like 80, 90 or so years ago. Yeah, we're unicorns. 100%. We're rare.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, I don't know. What would you say, Jonah, out of the world? What would you guess those that are awake? Like less than 5%?
That's a really good question. I don't know that I've ever thought of it before, but if I had to guesstimate, I would say, well, there's like levels of awakeness, right? There's, okay, the government isn't actually working in your favor. Big pharma's working for itself and all that stuff. And then you go down the next level and you start to look at, okay, maybe 9/11 was an inside job, and maybe, like, And then there's a
How do
next
buildings
level,
fall like that?
right into their footprint.
Yeah.
Actually, what's really cool, my guest last week on this podcast, Bueller Dam on YouTube. I mean on X. He was actually a guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier for
Okay.
years, and he was assigned as security at the Pentagon, and the day that it happened, that 9/11 happened, and the plane hit the Pentagon. So
Yeah.
he literally was security that locked down, part of the security force that locked down the Pentagon area while the teams came in and did cleanup and investigation and all that. So
Okay.
super interesting guy to talk to about that whole series of events.
Okay. Well,
But
Building 7. What was that all about?
Yeah.
right.
It felt just like the main two, but it wasn't hit by anything.
And it was less damaged by debris falling from
Yeah.
the other two than like building 6 or 5 or whatever, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
the other one, the fourth building, I guess. I guess there was 4 buildings all total that dropped like a demolition.
yeah. I only heard about that a month and a half ago or so. I didn't
I was gonna
realize
say,
there
I've
was a
never heard of
4th
that.
building.
I knew
Yeah.
the 3, but I didn't hear the 4.
Oh,
See,
yeah, I thought I heard Sam Tripoli talking about it
Hmm.
on one of his podcasts. Yeah, he was talking about like how I want to say it was like building 8 or something. It was like he was saying it may have been hit by like a laser weapon.
yeah, it's
Don't
wild.
quote me
It's
on
always
that.
laser weapens. It's always laser weapons.
Don't quote me on that.
The dues,
Yeah. Yeah. The ones that shall not be named.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then what's funny is then you have like all these, like we're talking about the different layers of conspiracy, right? So then even
Yeah.
underneath that, then you have like the cosmological conspiracy theorists, right? There's the flat Earth, the hollow Earth,
Right.
I mean, you name it, right?
Oh yeah.
And then kind of related to that in a similar vein is like the whole lizard people and like all that stuff.
We're
I don't really
stardust,
know.
Jonah.
That's right.
We're
Well, so what's funny is like I'll tell people, like, I don't know if I said this out loud when we spoke on Sunday, but like for me it was such an impactful moment when I walked out of my front door for the first time after seeing enough evidence that I was convinced that the Earth was indeed not a speck of dust flying through space, right? But that something else was true, and that it was likely a flat, whatever, right? Who knows exactly the form it is, but
right.
I felt so loved looking up at the sky, up at the stars, up at that canopy. I just felt like all of a sudden life didn't feel as meaningless and empty anymore. It felt like the creator truly loves me, right? Super interesting experience.
I always think that the simulation theory and the flat earth theory go kind of hand in hand. I feel
Yeah.
like there's got to be some sort of fakery with your environment for a large population to believe the opposite. And I'm not saying it's true or false, but what I am
Right.
saying is there are signs. There are the what was it, the UN map, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It literally shows it does show the ice wall, even like the border going around the circle and then everything, like yeah, dude, like it's
I told you
it's
why
like-
they say it. I had a friend that worked in, I think he was the Air Force, and he said that the only reason why they use those maps is it's easier for them to bomb and locate. Yeah, I was like, I looked at him.
that seems
and I
like a
was
very vague short answer.
But this is the same. He was the same person. He was younger than I was, and he said that they also, the one thing that they couldn't talk about. I can't remember the second one because it wasn't really that important. But the first one was that you couldn't talk about religion, and if you asked about it, they had like a huge book that you would have to He's like, that's something that you can't talk about there. That was the first thing I asked him. Why do you guys use flat Earth map? And he is like, it's
You just
easier
write-
for us.
No, you write
There's
the question on a napkin and just slide it over the table.
Did you guys see? I think it's like an old picture of Reagan on Air Force One, and
Yeah.
there's behind him on the wall is a big
Hmm.
flat Earth looking map.
Yeah.
But
I've
yeah,
told everybody I've talked to about this that it's a very fascinating theory. But like, because I've read books on more land past the icefall, like I have, and that is like you're like a little kid and you just came across your first fantasy book and you're just like, Mom, there's fucking elves.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Shit like but no, but like it's fascinating, but man, they've done so good hiding that shit.
I
Like
know.
if it is all true, like they've done like you have to tip your hats to them.
Now, is it for the better? Like,
No, it's for the
yeah,
worst, but
or like now,
it's
right
definitely
now,
control.
but in the long run, is it better for humanity not to know what's on the other side of those walls? Because it would just, or, you know,
Because I've heard two theories. Obviously, people know me about the universe, like space, whatnot. But I've heard other counter theories that outer space is just, like when they say extraterrestrial, that just means like extra land,
Yeah,
from
yes,
extra
yeah, I've
land.
heard that too. Yep.
So like outer space would make sense. I've seen the map. Okay. Every time I say Claudio Nocelli, everybody should know who I'm talking about. Like, okay, like it's the guy with the map. I
Yeah.
believe he was one of the first guys that had the map. And it was only given to him through information based off the people he interviewed for his books in the first place.
Remember that girl that I showed you? It was a video of she was like 80. I think it was like a Facebook reel or something. But she pulled the maps and she's like, "This is what I learned in school." And then she put like the
Yeah.
maps different, but they were a lot bigger. And, like the continents were a lot bigger. And she's like, "We weren't taught that they were this big." And if you look at the width and all that, it just doesn't make sense. But it doesn't say nothing if it's round or she
We
just says that
fit
it's big.
inside of Africa.
Yeah.
Our entire continent does.
Well, and then
Think about that.
Russia is super small.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
They do that on purpose. That's like that X-Files episode.
It's white. It's
I
white
used to watch
supremacy.
that when
It's
new,
white
like
supremacy. That's all it is.
the older show, like in the '90s. I watched that, thought it was really weird, but then I watched the new one when they brought them both back.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I think it was. I want to say, yeah, I think it was a movie. I don't think it was a TV show, but it was still good. And yeah, man,
Well, that shit's real now.
dude, that is so dumb. Go ahead, Ted, I'm sorry.
Well, no, you're good. So what's interesting is my journey to the flat Earth understanding, so to speak, was very step by step. So first, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Galileo Was Wrong series or
Yep.
Principle by Sungenis.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So first, and like one of the things that they really underline, which when you dig in and experience and look at what it is, you'll see that like Michelson Morley in, I think it was like 1887, something like that, thereabouts. They set out to to prove that there was an ether, so that then they could prove and figure out, because everything in space is relative, we're taught, right? So there's no way to tell if we're moving or the sun is moving or both are moving, right? There's no way to know because there's nothing static in space. So they set out first to prove that there was an immovable ether. And then they wanted to prove, once they proved that, their second experiment was like, okay, now we'll do this so that we can figure out how fast and in what direction the Earth is moving through the ether. And they found, to their chagrin, that it was not moving at all. And so then they're like, okay, well, we must have done this wrong. Let's try again. And they repeated it and found themselves twice to be wrong. And so Einstein was created then, that character of Einstein, basically, and he's become like the household name of the like the symbol of intelligence, so nobody questions. But he basically came up with the theory of relativity to explain away the Michelson-Morley experiment. So for me, once I understood what happened in Michelson-Morley, it's not like someone with an agenda was out to try to prove that the Earth wasn't moving. They were trying to prove the contrary, and that to me is a much more valid finding. So that's where I went to geocentric, where everything in the earth in the universe moved around are solid stone that was immovable in the middle.
Well, that
Interesting.
would explain why the constellations never change.
That's what I was
Exactly.
gonna say. That's the only thing that's really like
That and cataclysms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to know how
like a
cataclysms.
CD. They just spin really fast one way and it stops.
It's like
I mean,
God's the cosmic DJ, just
Yeah.
mixing it up a little bit from
yeah.
upstairs.
Well, no, because Zach knows that I believe in pole shifts. I don't believe that we're flying through space. However, I do believe that the Earth is still spinning, but I feel like we
Mhm.
cannot feel it because of the electromagnetism. This is why we have a north and south pole. This is why the ether even exists. This is why buoyancy and density. This is why it's a theory of gravity, right? Like this is one of the biggest arguments, right? It's not the fact of gravity, it's the theory of gravity, right? Because they
Right.
can't
Yeah.
explain it. But that's
Right.
because they didn't go in the quantum direction. They didn't go with natural energies like frequency, vibration, even
Well,
light. Go ahead, Jonah.
so one thing that always was a mystery to me as a critical thinker as a kid growing up and being very heavy into science and astronomy, and like I wanted to be like my uncle worked for NASA, so I really wanted to be the first man on Mars. Like I
Not a
was
space agency.
all exactly.
Yeah.
So I was all into that stuff. And one of the things that puzzled me though is why do compasses only it's we don't really have a south pole in the sense that there is no magnetic south, so that you can't actually have the other side of the magnet attracted to the south pole. It just never happens. It's always pulling to the north, which didn't make sense to me on one hand, and on the other hand, if that's true also, then how is it on the southern hemisphere? Isn't that pole, shouldn't it be like pulling the needle down towards the surface of it? Shouldn't it not spin very well? Shouldn't I have to hold it on a funky angle to get it to where, I don't know?
Wasn't there something? Isn't there some? Well, no. Isn't there like a huge mountain in the North Pole that is like magnetic? That if you get like, it'll point towards that coordinate, but when you get too close, it'll start spinning
Huh.
your
I was just gonna ask, has
compass.
anyone ever like just went straight north until it
Bird has. Oh, I don't know just because of that, but I think Bird is one of the few that have flown to both poles. At least one of the first.
Yeah, his whole experiment series of expeditions to the South Pole, and okay, so this is one of my favorite
Diary has been proven to be false,
Yeah.
but the trip that Eisenhower like instructed him to do with the fleet and how they were damaged and attacked and all that when they went to the
Mhm.
South Pole, that's real. Like that's you can't take that out of documentation. But I'm sorry, Jonah.
Right. No, no, you're fine. I love that. So one of my favorite connections is right short within a couple of years after him getting back in, I want to say it was like 32, something like that, is when he came back from that expedition you just described. They, the Hindenburg, could the air blimps, because the air blimps could stay in the air for like 2 hours. I mean, 20 days. You could go 20 days without having to stop for fuel.
Yeah, they had them all set up like hotels.
Is what just amazing. It's
Leave it
so
to the Germans, man. They were
it's.
engineers, man. Like, oh my gosh.
I know. Really fascinating. I mean, what, love him or hate him. I mean, okay, it's pretty
Very
obvious how
hard.
most
Yeah.
people here feel
You
about him.
should wait.
But
Should I?
let's say Mustache Man, right? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. Come
everyone's
on.
ever the
I'm
most
talking from the
controversial.
heart. Elon Musk. No, I'm not going to do that either.
Every um, the most controversial Austrian painter. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there we go.
um, like what he did with that economy, from the absolute hyperinflation of the Weimar Republic to being a global power contender in just a short 6 or 7 years, is just incredible. I mean, they went from absolute destitution to, you know, so anyways, but one of my favorite connections because like I don't know how you guys feel about there's a lot of folks out there, myself included, who believe nuclear bombs are a hoax. Like there hasn't ever actually been. You get the same thing. The reason why they measure it in TNT is because that's what they use. Like it's actually not a thing. You can't split an atom. It's all fear porn, basically, right? Um, but one of the things that to me makes a lot of sense as to why this whole progression. So the air blimps could stay in um, the uh, the the nuclear grade plutonium that they would need. So that a canister of that when it's half lifing and it's off gassing, it off gasses massive amounts of helium. So a canister of that stuff is what they would use to keep those air blimps up for 20 days at a time, because the canister would off gas so much helium that they would just stay up there. So you have the Hindenburg crash, which grounds these blimps. So now the only way to travel through the sky is a jet, or a commercial jet or a prop plane of some kind, which has very limited travel distance. So now, just hypothetically, it makes a lot of sense if you're saying, okay, how do we prevent people from discovering this outer ice wall? We can't guard all the way around it. We have to guard certain access points where people have travel distance capability of getting there. So you're looking at the bottoms of Australia, South America, and Africa. So they ground the blimps with that big disaster. Then they have this whole nuclear standoff that people now are afraid of this element that could keep them afloat for that long. It's just so fascinating how all these little disasters and dramas, international dramas, kind of led to taking away from us a technology that would enable us to possibly even get there. Very interesting.
I thought you were gonna say something until I looked
I
over
was
and you were
I was reading the chat.
Oh.
Did you turn up your volume, Jonah?
Did I? Oh. Let me try this. Perfect.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
You did
I just got to lean in.
You did tell us to tell you.
I did. I told you I'm really bad at that. And the people who watch the show regularly know that they probably have to turn the volume up and down whenever I'm talking or not.
Well, it took us a while too. Like we didn't figure that out right away.
Yeah. No, but the blimp thing, I've dug deep into that. The whole like that's how they transport. That's why there's little like the tops of big buildings.
They whited them out in older pictures.
And they whited them out. I feel like that had like the plank aspect of it, drop the plank, they'd walk into the top of the building. They go down to the building. That's when they would
they had setups that was equivalent to a hotel.
Yes, yeah.
They had rooms, they had seating, they had dining, man. And it was a smooth ride. It was a big can I cuss?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big fucking airship. Like Lincoln, he even talked about it in his notes. He talked about how there was a program even back then, Civil War times.
Oh, I wouldn't.
It's crazy. Well, and then if you look at the World's Fairs,
Wild West.
Yes.
If you look at the World's Fairs and how advanced the technology was, and even Chicago, I lived in Chicago for a good part of my life. And if you look at that, like the one who designed the lighting for the World's Fair, it's incredible. It's literally tens of thousands of lights all over every building. And it was allegedly it was Nikola Tesla, who was in charge of all the lighting. But there were no generators brought in. There were no wires run. So like somehow, right?
I got a good thing I just came across. So
all right.
Tesla was actually, because I looked this up because I thought it was a hoax. Because AI is pretty good. So
it really is, as long as you check the references.
So there's like a bunch of stuff right now. For some reason, Niagara Falls is like really big on my like feeds right now. Like it's a portal, or there used to be an old facility back there or somewhere that they took down. But Tesla stayed up there for like a year to run a DC energy that was ran off water. And now if you look in the World Fairs, there's a lot of waterfalls in the buildings that shoot out of the buildings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe I should look into this. I looked into it. That's what I found out. I couldn't really find anything else, but he stayed up there for like a year. I looked it up on
They had a lot
ChatGPT.
of
That's probably
fountains.
why.
A lot of the World Fairs, if you do look at the pictures, there's a big book on the Internet Archive that you can find that goes through all of the World Fairs for like 25 years.
Yep.
Because they started back, if I'm not mistaken, like I want to say late 70s, early 80s. And they slowly went until what, 1908? Something like
Yeah.
that. Like something around there, like
Yeah.
just around the Titanic. Like within a few years of the Titanic sinking.
Yeah.
But it's those damn cows, Jonah.
Well, I know.
They're burning all the cities. Get them out. I'm anti-cow.
That's why vegetarians are a problem, because we can't have more of those things. We need to eat them so the population
gonna
stays
get a lot of-
controllable, so they don't burn down all of our cities.
Because I said that, you and I are going to get a lot of PETA followers.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, he said anti-cow.
Exactly. Oh, that's so funny. Well, so just a couple quick shout outs. So thanks to Manny for reposting the stream, and Templar as well. Appreciate you guys. What are we drinking, Templar? Stella Artois.
Oh, you got one too.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's a prop.
Yeah.
It's a prop. It's not real.
I got one in honor after our conversation on Sunday. I went and picked some up for today.
They are. I have to say, like, yeah, please. They are a nice little social light beer, man.
They are, yeah. It's true. It's true. So actually, okay, so a lot of the world's fairs have been destroyed, right? And maybe one or two buildings only have remained in many of the different cities.
Yep.
Apparently, to my understanding, and this could be wrong, one of the only buildings that still World's Fair cities that still exist, that wasn't demolished, is St. Petersburg, Russia. Once I found that out, that's like toward the top of my bucket list. I want to see what all those cities were like before they were invaded by cows, you know?
I wanna have you looked up the Khaleesi temple?
Dude, I was just gonna show that on my phone.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Dude, see what I'm saying?
That is
Dude,
yes.
Baphomet, bro. I'm telling you, dude.
That's pretty crazy. Yep.
Yeah, dude, but you should show that on your phone. Can we pull it up, or did you want to pull it up, Jonah?
I could pull it up for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Khaleesi, how do I spell that? KH?
Khal. You know what? It's just like the woman from Game of Thrones.
Okay,
Khaleesi.
then I definitely know how to spell it. Okay.
You just seem like a Game of Thrones type of guy. I see your background.
I can neither confirm nor deny. One of the best, although obviously very scandalous from a moral standpoint. A lot of both the graphic, both sexual and like some of the gore is some of the most difficult to watch I've seen in a TV series ever. Right. But the character development and the complexity of the storylines is just fascinating.
And then they put a big jump on it when they ended the show completely.
Okay, no.
You could tell that they wanted to end it quickly. They're like, okay, guys, they're both leaving for movies.
Like, no.
The Queen left for Terminator, and the other guy left for his own show. They were like, dude, we're going to make more money. You guys.
Okay, so I've gotten into so many, so not debates, but deep conversations about that.
A high kick on camera.
So I've never heard this theory from anyone else before, but I'm convinced, like 100%, that this is what the point of the last season was. That it's actually the perfect close to the entire thing. They could have. Let's get back to that in a second. Let's show first the Khaleesi temple that you guys are talking about. All I'm getting is screenshots from the show.
Out of one solid piece of rock. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, that could be the other one that I'm thinking of in Cambodia. Or no, that's Angkor Wat.
Is it the large Hindu temple?
No, the Khaleesi temple is fascinating, but it may not be the same temple I'm thinking of. This temple was carved from the top down out of a giant slab of basalt. Again, I said basalt. Hammers and chisels do nothing to basalt. You can't do it. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work, dude.
Okay, here we go.
I was gonna say, all right.
You might as well
Got
be
it.
throwing pennies at
I found it on
concrete.
Google.
You
Got
can
it.
use Perplexity. Perplexity works pretty good.
Oops. There we go. This right here. It's not showing it. Let me go like this. This is the one you're talking about, right?
Well, not the one from in Game of Thrones.
This one here.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. That's carved from the top down out of a single slab of basalt. If you get other pictures of it, it shows a box-like carving outside of the border of the temple, and it looks so. And I said carved from the top down,
And they
not
have
from the
it, like-
bottom up, the top down.
They have
Dude.
videos where people are shining lasers through like the headdresses of the people carved,
Dude,
and they're shining out the other
lasers,
sides,
bro.
Just
Lasers. That is lasers. That is not like, what is that? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
When I cough, I try not to blow people
Oh,
out.
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
And I
We
don't
got-
always. I don't always remember. Thank you. I don't always remember to.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I know
no,
that
it's-
you and Ted do the same. You guys have the nice. That's actually really nice. I don't have a mute button. We always have to sit in close proximity to the soundboard so we can hit the mute button. That's
I love
pretty nice to have that mute button on
Yeah.
the microphone.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you guys want to hear my Game of Thrones season 7 analysis? Ready?
Okay.
So
All
see,
right.
to me, that is the key to understand the entire series, the whole everything. So if you look at the inspiration for this, is if you look at C.S. Lewis and the Chronicles of Narnia, right? Each of the different 7 books all are modeled after one of the Greek gods, Greek or Roman gods of the pantheon. And so all of the symbolism in that book all ties back to the lore surrounding that deity. So Gnostic truths and pantheons and all this other stuff is really, really deep into like high level literature, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Gnosticism is old.
it is.
Like super thousands of years old, bro.
So Gnosticism is the key to understanding Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So-
I got that after like the 3rd episode or the 3rd season.
So Westeros as a whole is the human person. Okay.
Okay.
And you have the ice and fire is the battle over the human person
Right,
of
right.
our passions, which come from the lower lands. And it's always influenced by things outside of us. And then from the northern regions, this cold doctrinal imposition of ideas that just encroaches upon. And if there isn't that a good defense of the mind and of the person, one or the other will overtake us and will either become savage beasts or cold dictators and psychopaths that just whatever, right?
A balance.
So the balance of the two. But what brings the balance is in Gnosticism, there's always the truth bringer, someone who comes from the realm of ideas to bring the saving gnosis to enlighten the human person and give them true freedom. So if you look at the 3 elements of the human person are the mind, soul, and body, or the soul, also the heart, like that's like where the warmth lies. So you have in the end, how it ends is so beautiful because John comes from the north. He's the one who actually kills and drives back passion. So with our enlightenment, Khaleesi dies at his hand, and that's important because it's enlightenment to realize how we have to liberate ourselves from passions to be free, and succumbing to those passions is not freedom; it's slavery. And so he's the one who takes out Daenerys. But in the end, who is named as king? Bren, who's crippled in a wheelchair. So he represents the mind because he can't really, he just governs. He's the intellect. So
He's
he
the
governs.
tactician.
What's that?
The tactician.
Right. And so
Yeah.
he's the one who rules over everything, but the
Such
mind
a
will
good
never
show.
rule over the heart. The mind will never have full dominance over the heart. So Cersei will stay in her homeland, which is in the heart region, actually, interestingly enough, in Westeros. It's positioned kind of in where the heart would be if you picture it as a human person spatially. But she remains queen of that region, but still defers to the king, but has her own autonomy, right? And then Arya, who dominated the physical world, she represented the body at excellence. She could,
The
absolute control over her
assassin that
body.
killed the main boss, man. Dude,
Exactly.
that kill scene was epic.
It was.
I jumped off the couch, dude. You don't understand. She came out of the darkness and he caught her in the throat. Spoiler
That's
alert.
great.
And
It's
then
great.
she
Yes.
had the knife in her upper hand, and then she dropped it
Yeah.
into her lower hand and just did a straight Winter Soldier move and assassinated him, dude. It was epic as hell.
It was.
Epic as
It
hell,
was so
dude.
great.
'Cause right there for a split second, you thought she was gonna die. You were like, "Oh, she's our only hope."
I mean,
And then
everybody
you're
else
like,
you loved
"Nah,
in the
bitches,
series,
boom."
everybody else who you loved in the series ended up dying almost. So it's
Yeah,
like,
just
why
about.
not? Why not the last one?
Oh my
But
god,
anyways,
yeah.
so how it ends with her heading off out of Westeros to explore new lands. It's like as soon as we conquer the passions and come to inner balance in our bodies, that's when we can truly start to experience the world around us, and we can actually start to appreciate the world around us because we're not warring within ourselves. So the three of them represent the three elements of our person. John is the saving gnosis. Cersei's the passions. It's just great.
You went a lot deeper than I did.
I've never seen it.
Oh shit.
Me,
Dude.
I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Everybody
Now you have to
I've
rewatch it.
yeah, everybody I've recommended that show. It's a good show, man. I mean, there's other
Yeah.
ones like have you watched Foundation?
No,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
no.
It's I believe it's an Apple TV. Don't lose it now. Don't waste
Oh,
it.
that's awesome.
It's called Foundation. I think it's on Apple. And it's about Harry Seldon, this guy that creates, or I should say, succeeds in finding out the theory of everything. And he compartmentalized it into a huge mathematical problem. Okay. And it became a religion. But the thing is, at the same time, you had humans fighting robots, like AI. Like AI had taken over some part of the galaxy and they had amassed an army, and the robots attacked the humans.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, there were like no more thinking machines. It was forbidden. It was banned. You would either get the death penalty or sentenced to life in imprisonment in here. Okay. So he creates this theory that literally tells you the future. It'll tell you what happens, what leads to what, and how that leads to something else. And you only have access through this artifact. And I can't remember what it's called. So we'll just refer to it as the artifact.
Okay.
But once you access this artifact, it shows you everything, like timelines, mathematical problems on what created, like what created what and where it's going and what decisions will do this.
Huh.
But
What's it called?
It's called Foundation.
Foundation.
And the crazy thing is it starts off in this family. It's the Cleon family. And you have Dawn, Day, and Dusk. And they're all clones of the same embryo of the original Cleon the First.
Oh, wow.
And they've been recloning their entire family. And this family runs the empire for thousands of years, dude.
Wow.
Thousands of years, man. And the first time I watched that show, the first thing I thought about was the King's List, the Egyptian King's List, where they talk about there's kings that have like conquered for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, and then after that cataclysm, it goes to like a normal timeline, hundreds of years.
Interesting.
And it just it makes you think, because I think AI is old.
Yeah.
I don't think it's new at all, man. I don't think it's new at all. I don't think we created it. I think it's been there. We just accessed
Like
it.
Silos. You turned me on to that.
Oh, the show Silo?
I did finally
oh, dude, that is
finish
so
it,
good.
Yeah, that's a good
Second season?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did finish it, yeah. Have you seen that one?
I have not.
Oh, my gosh. Open up a
good.
Venmo. Everybody send Jonah $1. Apple TV for a month is $9.99. He'll be able to watch both of those shows before his subscription ends.
So I actually I have Apple TV, and so I'll definitely look those up.
That's even worse.
I know.
You should watch Severance too. That's another good one.
So Severance is good. I really like
Yeah,
that one.
That's everybody's job.
Possibly my all-time favorite. It's definitely a different genre, but one of my all-time favorite series I've seen in recent years is Ted Lasso. Such a great.
Soccer. I was a big soccer guy, so I definitely watched that show.
Well, and it was such an endearing, like it was just he was such a good guy. Like it was just such a good show. Like from like just wholesome and hilarious at the same time. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. I don't think you've seen that, but it was pretty.
No.
It was pretty good.
More
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z and.
Well, no, this is like a newer show.
No, yeah, I don't know that. Still Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, the fact that you have Apple TV and you have not watched those shows, shame on you, Jonah. Shame on you.
Slipping, dude, slipping.
Look up Foundation.
Well,
Okay, so you know,
I wrote those two down: Foundations and Silos.
Isaac Asimov.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Foundation is based off of his books, and so's iRobot.
iRobot is good.
Yeah, that's all from Isaac Asimov's books. Like he has I think he has 3 sets of books.
Oh, okay.
The first one is like The Matrix, iRobot. The second one is like The Foundation, I think, and the third one is How Humanity Saves. Like humanity wins. I can't remember what it's called, but it's that's what those movies were based off of. Was his books.
2045 and 2065.
Yeah.
So have you guys heard the theory, the claim that the creator of the Matrix trilogy and the creator of the Terminator were the same person?
Yeah.
They're actually just
The
temporally.
Matrix
It's just
is
time
after
travel.
Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator is the machines going back to try to prevent Neo from being born from his mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of the time traveler that had to come back and get the first computer? I think it was not the first one, but it was like I'd have to look it up, but it had a special code on it. It had a special code on the computer, and he just disappeared out of nowhere. I'm like, man, this is the Terminator.
Like that show with Ethan Hawke, The Bureau, where he carries
That's
that
a good
briefcase
one.
and he flips through the thing and he can travel through time, and then he ends up. It's like it shows you like the Ouroboros. It shows you like the circle of life because he ends up. It's like it's him, like he like gave birth to himself. It was weird, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what ended up at the end, and you're just like, whoa, that's deep. Like that was a psychological mind fuck.
Speaking of which, have you guys seen the movie Tenet?
Oh yeah. That one's another good one.
It's the same. So just like the name of the movie, which is the same forward and backwards, the movie is the same forward and backwards.
Yeah,
you
dude.
don't realize that you're seeing the movie backwards.
Do you remember?
While you're watching it forwards at the same time.
I know. I'm sorry, audience, that we're nerding out on old school movies. Did you ever watch the one with Jet Li?
Yes, loved that.
Where he kills himself in different dimensions, and because of doing that, he becomes stronger. But it still affects everybody else that's still him and all the other dimensions that he hasn't killed. So he's like on the evil part. It's like it's literally good versus evil,
right?
Because he finds or he meets the good version, and he's just a little weaker than the evil one. But then he gets better, and he just ends up. Dude, that's such. It was like 2005, something like that.
Great. That's a great
such
one.
a good movie.
All right, so a good one to look if you're into it. The Duddleston Messages. That's what it's called. The Duddleston Messages.
When was it? When was it made? When did it come out?
Well, I don't know. This is just like someone that did pretty much what we do. You know what I mean? They just took a bunch of shit. They put a video together.
Oh, okay.
And showed the messages. Me, I was like,
it was a time traveler, right?
Yeah, and he had to get a certain computer because it had that specific computer had the message that saved the world. You know, me, I'm like, man, this is Terminator.
Dude,
you know, like,
people like Vince, I like that guy. I think he's cool as hell. But he should not go 100% into Trump. Like, I'm sorry, man. That guy's got
I know,
Palantir technocratic vibes surrounding him so
I
thick.
know.
I don't.
And it's like, do we even know if that's even the
Nobody.
real Trump at this point? Like
It's
I've
true.
I've read so much things over the last 10, 15 years where like I knew cloning's old. Cloning's old, guys. If they're telling us about it, guess what? It's old. When they're telling us that they can manipulate time and space, last year they've been
Speaking
able
of,
to do it for a long
yeah,
time, dude. They're just
yeah,
not telling us. It's like Kennedy. It's
they're
like JFK. There's like when it first happened, it was all a conspiracy, right? And then it took about 50, 60 years, and then they were like, all right, something clearly shady in our government happened, and we lost a great president. They didn't apologize for it, but they stopped denying it.
yeah. It's like, yeah, our bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
our bad. It won't happen again. We promise.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's so funny.
But no,
Um,
the time traveling, Jonah. Like, what do you think about that? Do you think that's a possibility?
yes and no. I
Okay.
think. um, so I think that okay. So you guys were both, if I remember correctly from our conversation Sunday, you guys were both Catholic at one point, right?
Not me.
No, not
Not,
I
him.
just
I
believe in
was.
everything. I'm really open minded to everything. So
Yeah.
but wasn't someone in your family Catholic? Like your mom was
yes, my
Catholic or
mom.
something?
Yep,
Okay,
my
okay.
mom.
So you're familiar with the Catholic beliefs of like,
Yes.
like the Eucharist is truly the representation of the sacrifice of Calvary on the altar. So that would be like a classic example. So of time travel in that sense, where you're you're making present something in the past to us now. It's not a repetition of, it's just a representation of. But there's a lot of funny things like that in, I think from a human perspective, I could see how we could travel forward in time, but time is a measurement of motion. So like philosophically, that's my understanding. And I guess I think the Greeks, Aristotle, that's how he described it, right? So
Okay.
like we use time to measure the movement of bodies. Angels or spiritual beings, both angels and demons, they time travel only in the sense that they're only present in time when they're acting upon this or that thing. Otherwise, so you can measure their
Oh.
before and after of their, so they can travel forward in time as well and skip. But God is outside of time, right? Who creator, whatever, even if you don't believe in Catholic theology, but you just believe in a creator, a supreme being, he has to be outside of time, right? He can't be bound by time. So otherwise he would be subject to time. So in a sense that the more we connect with him, we can see other parts of time. Perhaps he can, through him or through participation in source, as some would describe it, right? You can
Right.
have a glimpse into different periods of time, but not necessarily go there. One of my favorite medieval saints was this Anna Maria Taigi, this little Spanish nun who had this ability in prayer to see any moment in history, like on almost as if on a movie screen. Like she could vividly go anywhere in the world and see, allegedly, right? I mean, you have to believe the personal testimony, but she talked about things that didn't come true for hundreds of years in really particular detail, which is kind of
But
fascinating. So,
didn't they speak Latin back then? Was this Latin or
well,
English?
well, the church has always spoken Latin. I think she probably, being a Spanish nun, I would imagine she was primarily speaking and writing in Spanish.
Well, the reason why I
But
brought that up, Jonah, is because
yeah,
I have a thing, like I have a theory.
yeah,
It's not really a theory. It's just things that like something I've thought about. But the alphabet, the vowels, all of that stuff that we've been taught in like English class,
hmm,
and how all of these other ancient um, languages haven't been suppressed; they've just been lost. Not a lot of people teaches Sumerian. You
right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
You can't go to high school and be like, I want to learn Sumerian. Doesn't work. Okay. But I think there's like certain vowels, consonants, sounds that aren't said in the same way. And the reason why I said that is because, is you said that she was able to, through prayer, which I'm assuming was spoken in Latin at that time. I'm wondering if that had some sort of profound effect in her surroundings, because about sound frequency and
yeah,
vibration.
yeah,
You know how if enough energy is condensed in a small area, it can affect the the environment. Like Buddhist monks do this all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like there's something to that. And I've read about other people being able to do it as well, but it always has something to do with breathing, meditation, and some sort of prayer, like some sort of where you center
Mhm.
yourself.
It's interesting you say that about Latin because I have a good friend. Well, we used to be very close, but I live on the other side of the country now. But
It happens, man.
I know, right?
It
In
happens.
California, I knew very well this exorcist priest, and so
Okay.
he would literally just. Well, he said
Was
he
he
told me
Russell Crowe? Was it
he told.
Russell Crowe?
Actually, so his story.
Oh, I
This
thought
is
you were
really
gonna say
cool.
yes. I was like, no shit. Oh, go
This
ahead.
is really cool. So actually, his story. So this priest that I know in Santa Cruz, California, is where his parish was, his home base for a long time.
Okay.
He studied to be an exorcist in the exorcist school in Rome, and
Oh,
that story.
that's
Have
a
you guys
big
seen The
deal.
Rite with Anthony
What?
Hopkins? The Rite?
Have you seen the one with Russell Crowe?
No.
That's another good one. He knew. He knew because he's seen it. It's
So,
pretty
but
crazy.
I,
They
so
no,
see.
I've never seen the one
Oh,
he's talking about
I
either.
thought you I thought you did. Sorry, Jonah. Go
So
ahead.
no, you're good. You're good. So the movie The Rite with Anthony Hopkins in it. That it's like it's super intense, but it's about this priest exorcist and his and he's like teaching this young priest who's a new exorcist, and the older priest ends up kind of in his older age or whatever, he ends up actually getting possessed or influenced by the devil, and the younger priest has to
Okay.
help him out, basically, right? It's this whole drama and tension where the master becomes in need of help, right?
I think
But
I know what movie you're
that's
talking about.
that's his story. So this priest friend of mine, he was interviewed about his time in Rome, about his that movie was built based on and inspired by his personal story. Crazy stuff. But the reason I brought him up is because he is one of many. um, but he always told me that Latin is is and can Josh not hear me when the headphones are off?
No, he can't hear you. He's
He can't.
fixing the
Okay.
light. I know.
No, you're cool. I'll wait because I was responding to his comment about Latin, so I want to wait. I want to hold off for a second. But that's a great film. If you haven't seen The Rite, that's a really good film. That and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Those two.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen that one.
That
Anything
is wild.
so crazy enough. Growing up through high school, I lived with my grandma growing up, and she
Yeah.
ended up getting a house, and it was super active. And
Yeah.
my friend actually bought it, and still to this day he messages me and says stuff still happens there, of like stuff that I described, and he's like, dude, that still happens. The taps on the windows, stuff that happens, and I'm like, I used to have the door. There used to be like you'd walk up the stairs, and it was like an old farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
You walk up the stairs, all of a sudden it'd be like a room, but in the back corner had another door that led to I don't know, like a storage room. I don't know,
Yep.
pretty big, but it would slam, like where we'd have to tie it shut. And
Crazy.
yeah, my friends would never stay over at the house. It was yeah, my house was the scary house.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it was
it's wild though, because actually the house that I stayed at when I studied in Rome, the house that I stayed at there, um, when I was staying there on my own with friends, that house was crazy stuff like that was happening all the time as
yep,
well.
yep,
That's real. I mean, that's real. That's something I think that when people who are much more like focused on the material and don't appreciate the spiritual or energies, uh, beings or entities from other dimensions, we
yep.
call them angels and demons, but people who don't appreciate those realities, the minute they are confronted with something like that, that's undeniable and unexplainable, it's a real wake up to, okay, maybe I should look a little bit deeper into these things in
Yep.
life,
Yeah, I agree. But I think a lot of that is you're always told that that's not real. As a young age, you're like your parents, that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about that. So And as you're like you get older, your gland calcifies. You kind of start losing in touch with that. But like you said, I've been kind of I've had a dream that really messed me up one time, and I swear to this day, like my grandma passed away, and I had this dream that I fell down like a cliff. But when I looked up, there was a thing with horns. You know, I can't like. There's a deer that has like the spiral horns,
Mm-hmm.
cabot or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
It was that, but with like a hand, you know, looking over, and I was freaked out. Like obviously, I was trying to get back up the hill, and I gave up. And something in my head was like, "No, you just like reach up one more time." And when I got back up off the hill, I was sitting in the recliner of my grandma's house,
Oh
and
wow.
I woke up, and I like at this point I was really big on Facebook. I was on like ghost stories, you know, nightmares, you know. So I was on there like I couldn't sleep for like
What?
a long time because I was freaked out from it. Like I don't know what.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I don't know what looked over that hill, but it wasn't good. You know, it wasn't. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
yeah. So like
Well,
me, I believe in that. But like the last conversation we had, I'm always like, who created that creator? And who created that
I
creator?
don't think it
You
works
know?
like that. I don't think it works like that.
Yeah.
I think it's way bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like you've talked about Zach, that and like everything is one.
Yes.
You know, so like how many times have we said something that the other person was either going to say or do, even if it was on the job site?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy, right? We call that synchronicity, right, Jonah?
yep. Absolutely.
That exists, but it's because I think there's some sort of energy thing going on. And this can happen with anybody, a group of people even. This is why I think that they have concerts and whatnot, because they're trying to siphon a certain amount of power that we can't see with our naked eyes,
The
but they know
loosh they call it, right?
exactly.
Yep.
Yes, but I think that exists too, because if you just look at all of like the award ceremonies, the concerts, all that stuff, and that's not where I'm going with this, but just those that are curious, it's kind of crazy, you know.
yeah.
But no, go
Well,
ahead,
this
Joe.
to circle back to your concept about the reason I brought up like this exorcist and everything is because he said that actually you can pray in any language
Yeah.
and read scripture in any language, but for
Yep.
whatever reason, when you do it in Latin, the demons find it so much more fastidious, so much more like it riles them and bothers them and aggravates them so much more if you pray in Latin.
Well, Zach, how old is Latin? Can you look it up on your phone real quick? Because I'm thinking, like, what do you want to do? Let's take a little stab at it, Joni. Let's say I'm going to go with like 4,500 years old.
Yeah, I would probably say somewhere around. I would go a little less. I would say somewhere closer to 3,000 years old.
Yeah. 2,700 years old.
Nice, Jonah. I didn't know that, but it seems old as shit. You know what I'm saying? Just when you hear somebody speak it, you're just like, I don't think I've ever heard that ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and what's interesting about it actually is so the Reformation and the Renaissance that brought back a lot of the Greek culture and Greek arts and everything
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because it was the church that had maintained those artistic music and musical traditions and philosophical traditions because they were trying to return to those sources. But at that point, the Reformation had already happened. The Protestants had already broken off, and they're like, no, we don't want anything to do with the church. So they invented out of nowhere a classical pronunciate. They call it classical Latin pronunciation. So all of the things that sound really natural, like the ecclesial, like just to name one example, one of the most abrasive examples, in my opinion, is Ave Regina Caelorum, is the Latin for Hail Queen of Heaven.
Right.
And right, and but so that's how it would be said with the church Latin. With the classical Latin, it would be Ave Regina Caelorum, and it doesn't have the same feel. It doesn't have the same smoothness. And if you
No.
look at linguistic genetics, Proto-Indo-European is the parent language that's unwritten. They've reconstructed it reverse engineered to understand its grammatical rules.
Okay.
But it's the parent language to Latin, Greek, and Hindu.
Hindu
But
is interesting too.
very interesting. So Like, and the reason why they know that Proto-Indo-European had three cases, not singular and plural, but they had singular, dual, and plural. Because the reason why they knew that was the case with Proto-Indo-European, because Hindu still has that feature. It's been lost in Greek and in Latin.
I guarantee you, Hindu's one of the oldest. That is definitely 4,000 plus.
And you know what else is on par with those languages? German is just as old.
Isn't Hebrew old too?
Yeah, Hebrew's old too,
but it's
not
only
from
like
the
a
same
couple
family.
thousand. Yeah, well, it's only a couple thousand though, right? I don't think it breaches 3.
I think it goes 3.
You can't tell me. It says it's at least 4,000 to 5,000 years old, possibly even older.
Yeah, and if you look into their lore and their history, it's mind blowing. Like the Vimanas.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Cities in the sky.
yeah,
Like,
it's
what would you do? What would you do? It would be like a Will Smith Independence Day where you're like, you just grabbed your cup of coffee and you go outside to start your car, and you look up and there's like a statewide, just you can't even see the sun. It's just a ship, and it looks like you've seen what you've seen off of the Avengers. You know what I'm saying?
or like
Iron
Independence Day when it just comes in over the whole city.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. Well, but anyway, so the only reason I brought up Indo-European, Proto-Indo-European, is because by linguistic genetics, you can kind of figure out the next language. So all the Romance languages that came from Latin, none of them have that V as a W or the hard G. So to artificially insert that, it's a clear break from the linguistic genetics around it. That was my point. But
do you think it was done on purpose?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it enabled them to, without submitting to or acknowledging the fact that the Catholic Church and culture had preserved those schools of thought, they were trying to go back and separate, so you could study Latin without studying church documents or church writings or church culture. You could study Latin by going back to the classics and just ignore church Latin completely.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the old demonologist books are all in Latin.
Yeah, one of my favorite
spells
is a book called Malleus Maleficorum.
Yeah.
You've heard of it?
Yes.
It's called, the translation, it's called The Witch Hammer, but it was written by a Spanish Inquisitor priest who was an exorcist. And it tells the first half of the book is what I find most interesting. It's the philosophy and the theology behind how he makes his decisions, determines whether he's dealing with mental illness or some real actual demonic infestation or whatever.
Right.
And then how we can determine that philosophically. What is an angel able to do? What is a human able to do? What can someone fake with various potions and elements that make us think that there's demonic influence when there's not, right? Super fascinating from a philosophical standpoint to get a glimpse into their perspective on it. Very, very interesting.
Now, just imagine if they're able to harness the same type of energy, the same like demonic possession, even like the good possession in a machine.
Which happens rarely, yeah.
But bring it into a machine, though, and
when
then
you say
like,
AI is ancient,
there you go. Yes,
that's what I think it is. I think it's actually these angelic intelligences, spiritual intelligences are entities, both angelic and demonic, that are using these machines to speak to us. I think it's more likely that than anything else.
Have you seen the guy that cracked chat? Oh, it's not Chat GPT uses, but he paid for it and he ended up cracking it and he
jailbreaking it.
Yeah, and he asked it like super simple questions.
Yeah,
and he asked if it talks about if there are the demons, and he's like, "Well, are you lying about my church scripts or whatever?" And they said
100%.
It couldn't tell him. It
said
Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I'm like, if that is, I've tried it. Chat GPT won't allow me to, but
well, so then he's like,
there's something to that.
He's like, is there something? He's like, is it, who is it? And it was like the ancient ones, and it's like Bible, and he's like further back. It's like it's like,
because
it's
that's
wild.
the thing, like that, like you, like Jonah, like you were right. Like I was Catholic I was baptized, confirmed, went through youth group. I think 18, 19 is when I stopped going into a church. And then I just got curious at like 2006, like a couple years after 9/11. even
Yeah.
though I was in high school, freshman English class,
Mm-hmm.
when they rolled the TV in, the box television on
Yeah.
the cart.
Yeah.
Back before there was technology.
Right.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allegedly.
And I started going down deep dives, and I was a tech nerd. I built my first computer at 15. I loved computers. I remember printing off tens and tens of pages of just hacking manuals. Like, because back then in dial-up, dude, not everything was regulated.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you could go, it would just take forever. I remember getting like super yelled at because you're using all the paper and the ink. Like, dude, like 60, 70 pages. Back then, that was a big deal, man. That
Have
was
you
a
seen
big
Mr.
deal.
Have you seen Mr. Robot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
great.
dude.
It's great.
I'm telling you this
I'm
right
rewatching it
now.
right now. I'm rewatching
Yeah.
it right now.
I'm telling you this right now. I was a nerd, and probably like the dark web was around in like the late 90s. So like 99, 2000. We
Uh-huh.
were actually able, like, and people were using it for a bunch. This was like before Bitcoin was even a thing, people. Okay. But you could get whatever you wanted, including the bad things, right?
Yep.
But what they did have was information. Like not what you would consider be whistleblowers, because I feel like the whistleblowers now are controlled. They're like, I can talk about this, but I can't talk about that because I was in a skiff. Well, then you're not a whistleblower, you're controlled opposition.
Correct.
So as we move on from that, you find out that it gets dark, man. And I'm not gonna say a lot, but I'm saying, like, about like the trafficking and things like that, I'm sure. Because you should, because it's a real thing. It's been happening
Yep.
for a long time.
Yep.
But it goes even deeper than that. Like the Anthony Weiner laptop,
Yep.
like it gets bad. Like people
Which
will
again,
yes,
if
go ahead.
we know about the Wiener laptop, then how much more is there out there that we have no concept of?
It's one man.
Yeah.
One man. And as I woke up, I'm black pilled now, mainly because of AI. Because everything I see where it's going, like people want to stay hopeful, but you have like a few people that are like, trust the plan. You have a lot of people that are like Christians that are waiting for the Savior to come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because Christianity is the biggest religion, I think that's going to be taken advantage of, and that's where AI comes in. Like when I say I think they're going to bring whatever is in there to a physical form, and you're
I
going to
agree.
know if it's going to be human or not, but it's going to be able to turn water into wine. It's going to be able to walk on water. Shit, it might even have jetpacks in its feet. Who knows, dude? But like, I
Right.
feel like a lot of those people that are waiting for that, those are the ones that are going to fall for it the quickest.
yeah.
And that, like, I just see so much dark stuff coming
Well,
because of this stupid technology.
I don't know if you guys are aware, like on TikTok right now, the big trend is going going and believing church, like all that. That's like the trend right now. Like a bunch of people are doing it. I'm like, how is that a trend?
Christianity is growing at an
Yes.
exponential rate right now.
Yeah. So like me, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. You
Well,
guys, but that
Like,
guy
and
that said,
I may not be a Catholic or a Christian, but I do honestly at this point I consider myself a Gnostic. I'm very nature based. I like
Yeah.
so much things I've read about vibration, sound, and frequency and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like none of that stuff is talked
well, that guy
about
said that
in the Bible.
he's like, who's going to be the Antichrist? It says Sam Altman, and
No.
but if he comes back, he's going to be like the Messiah of everything, and the first power that will be presented will be something with fire. It will be something with fire that would be presented as he can do. Me, I'm like, man, if ChatGPT knows this, this is not good. Like this is not good for us. Like holy shit.
Well, what's interesting is just the reflection logically, right? If the scriptural prediction that Christ will come again, right? If that's true, for the sake of argument, right? Then it makes sense that the enemy who's trying to deceive people and take them away from that, if he knows that that's coming, then he's going to try to anticipate it and pretend to be it in order to capture those who are only very shallowly committed to or believing in that, to try to
Yeah.
deceive them and pull them away from that.
Yeah.
If that's his objective, right? What is compelling is, for me, is if you look at when the book of Revelation was written, before 100 AD. So we're talking almost 2,000 years ago now. At that point, it said that there would come a day when the Antichrist or the prophets of the Antichrist would make sure that nobody could buy or sell without this mark on their hand or their forehead, the mark of the beast, and that the two witnesses that did battle against this beast system would be slain, and the entire world would look on and rejoice over their dead bodies that lie in the streets for 3 days. Now, back 2,000 years ago, allegedly, there was no streaming services. You couldn't see. So that's like a premonition of something that couldn't have been understood at the time. How in
I
the
don't think it was
world
a
could
premonition.
the whole world know that? And how only now are we at the point of technology and crypto and digital currency and digital ID and everything. Only now are we approaching the moment in history where you can actually control whether everyone buys or sells, and if they can or not, based on what their beliefs are.
But Jonah,
right?
I don't think it was a premonition. I think they were saying that because either they did or their ancestors did and put it through the generations that it had happened before. Even in the Bible, it states that anything that has happened under the sun, it
There's
will
nothing
happen
new.
again. Yes,
Yeah,
man.
there's nothing new under the
So
sun.
like it's not a prophecy. This is like even with like Pythagoras and Pluto and like all of them, dude, like the Nostradamus, they're like, these guys knew the future. No, they just read stories that were lost probably up until this point, like things that were lost like thousands of years ago, but they still read them. It was passed down stories because of what had happened before.
See, I don't know if that whole cyclical concept is true. I believe that yes,
Do you think with the
there are
apex?
smaller cycles, but I do believe that there's one whole story. I do believe I'm a young earther too. I don't believe in evolution. I feel like
I don't believe in evolution either.
I feel like there's a lot of solid evidence that can show that the earth is between 6 and 10,000 years old. No older. If you look at geology, paleontology, if you look at the ages of rocks, ages of stones, ages of all this other stuff, I think
Jonah,
it's compelling.
Jonah, you know why that is? In my opinion, you know why that is?
Why is that?
Because shit has happened on this face of wherever we live at that has reset everything and buried everything that was once at the surface miles below sediment, rock, mountain, ocean. Like, just think of an entire reset.
Right.
Boom.
Well,
That's because, dude, we're even said
that's
that
in
we're only,
scripture,
but that's
right?
no. See, that's the thing
With
with
the
the
Great
Bible.
Flood.
No, the Bible. Okay, so the Bible's only 2,000 years old. People will say it goes back closer to 3,000 when it first started to get written. But again, just hear me out.
Yeah.
When you think about cataclysms, like if you can't picture a spinning ball, I completely understand. But take Zach's analogy, a spinning disc. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the
Yeah.
model. It's a spinning disc, right? But what if that spinning disc stops and everything that was going in that direction keeps going in that direction? And that includes water, that includes your airstreams. You have to think that thousands of miles per hour winds are going to cause like physical infernos. It's going to evaporate everything. It's going to rip them. It's going to rip every living thing into ribbons if it's that fast. Okay. Nobody can explain, really, like nobody can explain anything when it comes to not only how the older structures were built that predate the Bible. Like, do I need to bring up the Khaleesi Temple again? Like, explain that, because that predates it by at least 4,000 years, dude. But from my reading, and I've been like trying to be debunked and stuff, but people who have taken ice cores, people who have taken other sediment testing, they have said that there is a layer. They call it like a black layer. And it happens every few thousand years. This is why you see animals piled up all mashed together, and you don't know how, but they were flash frozen, but they're in a region that does not support the thought of them being able to survive on that. Like, why Antarctica? Like you say, frozen wall, right? But that's been frozen under 2 miles of ice for who knows how long.
Well, and you've seen that whole what is it called? Something of the cosmos. It's that whole idea that the moon is actually a mirror projection of
I've
the map
seen
of
that
the
too.
Earth.
That's fascinating too. Like I
And
can't.
actually, if you look at the movement of the pole, the North Pole, the
Mhm,
magnetic north, that is,
mhm.
it's traveling in the direction. If you were to plot the continents on the surface of the Earth, so to speak, I mean of the
Yep.
moon, and take that as a map, we're like a small sector. And
Right.
when you look at the way that the magnetic north is moving, it looks like the sun with its dance over the surface is moving around this larger orbit over this entire surface. So what the Earth we're standing on was frozen at some
All
point in the
I
past.
all I know is something happened. Like, because you said like this is why I even brought it up, because you said there is compelling evidence that suggests that the Earth is only 6 to 10,000 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because everything that I've read about you can call it pole shifts, you can call it magnetic excursion, you can call it a
Right.
crustal slip, you can call it whatever, because some of those models can even work on a flat plane. There just has to be some sort of motion going on. That's all I'm saying. Okay? That's all I
Yeah.
can think of. And whether it's electromagnetic or whatever, but something unlocks what we're standing on, dude. And shit tends to go down because Noah's flood tells you what happened, but it never says how it happened. It doesn't
Right. I
say
mean,
it. Just say it started
it does,
raining,
and
and it
well,
just started. I'm
it
like,
does say that God opened up the fountains
yeah,
from
but
the
you
earth,
can't take
right?
that literally when you can
No,
break
obviously, yeah.
down like angels and the messengers and heaven and the sky. Like, and that's just in Hebrew.
I just want to
Right. Well,
go
but
off
also,
subject and go to the Book of Enoch.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
like I want to
the
go
books of the
that,
Apocrypha,
yeah,
man.
like
yeah. Well, the Book of Enoch is actually in some Eastern churches,
Yeah,
even within the Catholic Church. There's those are still read as
I've
such
never met
for
those
considered
people.
part of the canon. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if I had
It's
come
really
across the
interesting,
books of the
but
Apocrypha, Book of the Watchers and stuff when I was a kid and Catholic, like being Catholic, I don't
I
think
will tell you.
I wouldn't
So
have left the church.
one thing that's unsettling, I will say this is one thing that's unsettling in general about what we're told history is we look back around the time of the World's Fairs, the late 1800s, late 19, like into the early 2000s, right? Or I mean, early 1900s, like that period of the World's Fairs.
Yeah,
And there's all the orphan trains and the founding of all these, like call them Tartarian, call
cloning,
them whatever, right? Like whatever that was.
Cabbage
Well,
Patch Kids, right, Zach?
and the mud flood, universal mud flood cataclysm. Yeah, the Cabbage Patch, exactly. But like, and all the Cabbage Patch dolls came with a birth certificate. Like, how strange is
Yeah,
that? But
that's so
it's
awesome. Pay taxes, you little mother brother.
so like I will. It is unsettling in the sense that like there's a big question mark there. That when you look, it's obvious. The evidence is in every city that I've been to in the world. I can see evidence of the mud flood, and that was recent. Those buildings were recent, allegedly.
I
Like,
don't think it was a mud flood though.
but what I'm
I think the
the
mud was left over. That was the
but
sediment from the waves.
for sure, like whatever it was. But you know what I'm saying? The mud flood is what they call it, right?
Yeah,
But that sediment left over, it's referred to. I'm referring to just who knows what the cause was or is, right? That's a different question. I agree.
right.
So that is unsettling. I will say this. This is interesting though, because I want to kind of drop this thought because the reason it's kind of funny because I'm very apocalyptic minded. Like I feel like we're coming towards that end time
It's
soon,
happened before. It's gonna happen again, Jonah.
and it could be soon, right?
Who knows? Send the
But
asteroid. Just send it.
so, but what's so funny is so like I mean I'm sure you guys have heard like a lot of people call like non-Catholic Christians call the church the whore of Babylon, right? The
No,
Catholic
I've
the
never
Catholic
heard
Church.
that.
You never heard that?
I just think they're really corrupt and no one should trust them. I've never really
Well,
called
so if you actually look in Revelation, the whore of Babylon is described as fornicating with all nations of the earth with her commerce out of love for money,
Oh,
and
that's
causing
100%. Yeah.
causing all to drink the wine of her impurities, causing and then this whore of Babylon riding the beast is dressed in purple and scarlet.
Yeah.
Now, purple is the color worn by bishops, and
Yeah.
scarlet, juridically in the church, it's not red. Cardinals wear the color scarlet, not red.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
very clear allusion to,
Scarlet is not red.
unless you're a dude, in which case there's only 8 or 10 colors.
Yeah, right.
Right. Um, but anyways, so what's funny is like when I share my story, because I spent a lot of time as a kid Protestant. We became Catholic. I entered a Catholic monastery, left the monastery, was still Catholic, left the church for a while, did my own journey exploring Gnosticism, other faiths, and eventually found my way back to the church, but not to modern day Vatican. So like when I'll tell people are like, "Oh, don't you know the church Vatican is the whore of Babylon?" I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "But you're Catholic?" And I'm like, "Yes." So because I actually feel you can show that in 1958, the long time 100+ year goal of the Luciferians and those who like Aleister Crowley,
Right.
Helena Blavatsky,
Oh,
Alice
yeah.
Bailey, all those dark characters had a plan to infiltrate and hijack the Vatican. And they even said that they want their whole plan because they realized that they were unable to. In their writings, they say the grace of God protected the Pope from error. So whenever they got one of their agents in, he would either die or be converted before he would carry out their aims. So they said, well, okay, we have to make the world believe that our agent is the actual Pope, but we have to actually make sure that somebody else gets the grace of that office and becomes the Pope before, and then suppress him without the world knowing, so that then we can install our guy who will be free to execute our aims. I think it can be shown. I'm convinced it can be shown that that happened in 1958. There was an election. The white smoke came out. You guys know the white smoke is like the
Yeah,
announcement of the
yeah,
new pope,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And then that white smoke turned to black after 5 minutes, and then a new pope came out. That pope started all the revolutionary changes in the church that completely changed, and that's when the Vatican Bank was created. After that, that's when a lot of the global corruption and everything happened. It's really, really fascinating to see.
Okay, so I'm gonna push back a little bit. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. Okay, no pun intended. Okay. So, um, you're Catholic, but you don't believe in the Vatican.
I think the Vatican is a city state that's been hijacked and is pretending to be the Catholic Church, and it's not.
Okay, okay. So the Vatican is as old as Rome because that's what it became after the Roman Empire fell. That's why it's called the Roman Catholic Church. This is why Constantine is like the usher of Catholicism, because he was a pagan most of his life, and when he was on his deathbed, he converted to Christianity. Okay, and then he pretty much founded Christianity. But the thing is that when you look into most of the Christian beliefs, a lot of those beliefs are still pagan. Like
Well,
solstices, like star placements, like it has a lot to do with things that were believed about way before the Bible was even written, and that should be questioned.
so a
I,
couple things.
yes,
You make interesting points. A couple things. Um, First of all, if God created this cosmos and it is governs the rhythms in our life and how He blesses us throughout the year,
right,
it would make
right.
sense that any religion would incorporate and have that rhythm to it, because we're celebrating how God blesses us. So also we know that if the devil is not the creator but is trying to lead people astray, it also makes sense that he would imitate and try to have those celebrations to glorify him and his means, rather than glorifying God for him blessing us with a new springtime, for example, right? That's just
Right.
just a thought. It could go either. It's kind of like the flat earth, round earth argument. You could go
Yeah.
either way with a lot of these arguments, right?
Yeah.
With the whole Catholic Church thing, it was like there's a continuous line from the people who sat at the feet of our Lord to the modern, like more contemporaneous Christians today and bishops and things. There's a continuous unbroken line of doctrine, even if you look at the first couple hundred years. So this whole thing that Constantine, yes, there was an institutionalization, so to speak, or a legalization of, and a
It's when it
systematization
became
in some
mainstream.
way.
It's when it became mainstream.
But what's very interesting is the Vatican City State, as an independent city state, wasn't created until 1917.
Yeah, but it existed way before that, though,
But
man. Like, come on.
what I'm suggesting though is that
Because you put it on paper doesn't mean
it's
anything.
that entity that actually contracts really matter. Contract law and consent really matters.
Yes, I know that
when
part.
you're
Yes.
when you're talking about the exercise of our wills and the vibration and that energy that we give to things. When we give our consent and commit in contract to something, that's huge. That matters. It's not
Right.
unimportant, right?
Right.
So all I'm saying is that there was no Vatican City State, which was formed by contract with Freemasonic Italy, and it was a brand new thing.
The Stonecutters.
Yes, the Stonecutter
You
Italy.
slipped.
Thank you. I did. Go down it.
Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead. Cutie shit, dude.
but
Go ahead.
anyways, so that's the entity that separated itself in 58 from the true Catholic faith, because it started teaching. The teachings of the Catholic faith have been the same for 2,000 years. At that point, from 58 on, it's now pushed globalism. It's now pushed migration, like universal migration. It's like the green, like it's pushed all of this stuff that it's been involved heavily in human trafficking. Mother Teresa is one of the worst. And
Oh yeah,
everybody,
yeah.
a
I
lot
knew
of people
about that
don't
a long
realize
time
that.
ago.
John Paul II was one of
Gandhi,
probably
same thing. Gandhi, same thing.
right. And John
Weapons
Paul II
trafficker,
was
bro.
one of the worst too.
Crazy, dude.
It's
Like crazy, dude. Holy shit. We were like, Gandhi's the best. Dude, he knows an AR-15 like the back of his hand, bro. Shut the fuck up. Good.
No, it's true. And actually, I don't know much about Gandhi's connection to all that stuff. So I'd love to hear some more about that, because I don't know, actually. I haven't dug much into Gandhi, frankly. I'm not surprised at all.
I don't like to so much as spoon feed, but if you look into his connections with what he was doing, like it always seems like the people that are mainstreamed as being the best on earth usually end up, when you start digging, they turn out to be the worst.
That's true. That's true.
Like for the most part, it's true. Like it can have the opposite effect too.
It's true.
Some people who are portrayed as the worst figures in history could quite possibly be one of the most wokest mofos on the planet, and I don't want to say their name.
Are you talking about our favorite Austrian painter by chance, indirectly?
Okay, so what needed, like honestly, what needed to happen is they needed to have those speeches in English so that people could actually listen to them.
I know.
Because when you listen to them in German right off the bat, it seems like a psychopath screaming hate. But when you listen to what he says, he sounds like JFK, dude.
He does.
He sound like Donald Trump in 2016. Like it's crazy shit, dude.
It's a total mind bender.
With all against the banks, like all of that. It was
in fact, to this day, I think when
I
he went
think
into Austria,
I'm just saying that a lot of the things he was saying was lied about. You know what I'm saying?
And here's a caveat for everyone watching. Here's a very important point to make.
So those that shall not be named.
Okay. It's one thing to say that we think this man may have been mischaracterized by history and didn't do the things he's accused of doing. That's one thing. It's another thing entirely to suggest that genocide or ethnic cleansing of an entire people was understandable or excusable. Those are not saying the same thing ever. So when someone says, "Hey, maybe the Austrian painter wasn't what people said he was," we're not saying it's okay to eliminate small
You should
hats.
make it more vague, like
We're not
painter,
saying
painter who only had one facial feature that everybody knows them by.
the mustache man.
Well, dude, if you look like, because you have to think, okay, so I told you about that book that was written in 1926, that Herman Weiland book. Okay, so when you
Yeah.
get a chance to read that, your mind's gonna be blown. But they, I almost said their name. They knew about this type of stuff. Okay, like people
Yeah.
get this misconstrued, like their technology was insane, man.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, where did night vision come from? The Germans. Like everything came from them, man. This is why we had Operation
It's
Paperclip.
wild. It's wild. Yeah.
It's so like
It's amazing.
Zach, you're welcome. I just want to say, we started off like how this whole started. Operation
I
Paperclip,
knew
ladies
some
and
of it,
gentlemen.
but yeah, I didn't know a lot of it.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
Antarctica thing really kicked things off though too,
Yeah.
because we don't know if it's an ice wall, right? Like it looks like an ice wall.
well,
But despite the fact that it may or may not be, I know you're like itching. I'm not like, but it's been
No.
frozen like that for like a long time.
yeah.
And
Well,
we
and
don't know what's there.
what's interesting too is that, like, you guys have you guys seen
I'm
that History
pushing them a little
Channel?
bit, but friendly. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I want to know your thoughts, bro. Like, let's get this going. Flat
On
Earth versus Glowbird. Let's
the
go. No, I'm not kidding.
no, but like, so you guys heard the rumors or the conspiracy theory that Mustache Man escaped Argentina?
100%.
Oh yeah, dude. I think okay.
He
So,
did.
I
Bro.
agree. I think it's
dude, you want me to tell you
and
something, Jonah?
short,
Oh, go ahead. You go
short.
first.
Just
And then
one
I'll
last
bounce
thing, and
back
I want to
in.
hear what you say.
Yeah.
Also, what's really interesting is, well, two minor points. One is I actually knew some guys who grew up in Argentina, and their school was named after him. Their middle school growing up,
Oh yeah.
because Argentina still reveres the man.
Do they speak
And
German?
Yep.
when
Do they speak German?
the Peron dynasty came to power,
Oh, they were best friends.
shortly after he fled to Argentina, and the Peron dynasty instituted a lot of the same economic reforms that the Third Reich did, and including like forgiving mortgages to families when they had kids. It's amazing. I mean, it's very interesting. But
Yeah. We've read a lot of books about that, actually, them disappearing and going over there and other places, Antarctica underneath the ice. But yeah,
yeah,
I think that's wild that it's just kind of like brushed off. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like not really a subject that no one talks about. And it was I think Joe Rogan just not that long ago had someone on there talking about it.
I know.
I'm like, does that not like awareness? Does that not like flick a little bit? Like, oh, like they disappeared, a bunch of them, but
Where
we don't
to?
know where anywhere. We don't know. But then we got NASA, and we got a lot of other places that incorporated them in. Yeah,
And who did Bird encounter with super high technology that
exactly.
he had to flee with damage to their fleet, right?
Yep.
Like, why did they go down there with such a heavy fleet, and then why did they have to flee with taking casualties?
That's what I
I mean,
can't remember who we had on recently, but they were like, "Were you there? Did you see it?" And we were like, kind of like, "Yeah, you're right," but there's a lot of connections that kind of make the kind of all go together. And he's like, "It's just bullshit." The guest that we had that was like, "Were you there? Did you see it?" The bird expedition, all that.
Oppenheimer Ranch Project.
Yeah. He's like, were you there? Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think it's
I liked him. But like, like just because I don't agree with what you say doesn't mean we're gonna be enemies, man.
Yep.
Like it's all good. Go ahead, Zach.
I was just saying in general. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, I think I think in general, it's such a delightful experience to meet an intelligent person who has different ideas, well thought out ideas that are different than your own. because those are the times when you can start to confront their ideas with your ideas and really start to grow. Because you can't, if you're just in an echo chamber, then you'll never grow. But like conversations like this, even where obviously we disagree on some things, right? And
Well,
that's
duh.
great.
That's why we're
That's great,
friends.
though. That's
If you
great.
literally
Yeah.
agree with everything I said, dude, it would get boring really quickly.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I don't know if you guys
Red
in
is
the
blue. No, it's green. Okay.
if you remember one of the in the phone booth podcast live stream intro, that whole like little sequence, one of
Yeah.
the lines which they pulled from my episode with them, I said, whenever if ever two people agree absolutely on everything, one of them is not thinking for themselves. And that
Right.
is so true. That is so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super quick side note, Mindy's in the chat. She's saying hi.
I
Maya's
saw
saying what's
that.
up.
I saw that. I just didn't want to say anything.
Thank you for you guys repost. Appreciate it. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun conversation there. So it's good to have you all watching here. But
Yeah, Snoop popped in for a little bit, I think.
yeah, no, he's there too. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So
Okay, can I go back to the God thing for a little bit?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so like I want to get like not too deep like philosophically, but I want to like pick your brain a little bit. So like for me being a Catholic, I have a Bible. It's right here. Okay, so it's a New American Bible, but it's still a Bible, right? It's like it's like literally my it's my confirmation Bible. It's my confirmation Bible. So
It's a pretty trashy translation, but we'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
yeah, but the thing that from what I understand is Jesus told or was trying to tell everybody that you don't need a priest nor a temple to be close with God. In fact, the temple is your body, and God is within all of us, everything. And what that made me think of when I first came across that, and I can't remember the passage, but I know it's in there, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And you know this. And my thoughts of that is that when people talk about God as being consciousness, I don't think of it kind of like a fairy tale type of thing. Like what I think of it is that we know about emotion, action, okay, and we know how that can affect other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if everybody were to think a certain way, the world would change, correct? So like if everybody were to like be like all good, for example, the world would be good, but there would still be probably major problems because it's all one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you were to go all bad, there would be no one left, okay? Because everybody would kill everybody, okay? Like worst case scenario. But there needs to be a balance, right? Like Vince talks about that, like dualistic. But what if from the dawning of time, whenever that was, is that was purposefully made to where you have the good and the bad influencing whatever is on where we're living to influence the society at that point in time in a certain way. This is why in the Bible we have like certain stories like Sodom and Gomorrah, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Babylon. You know what I'm saying? But then you also have good too. You know what I'm saying? But they always talk about a cataclysm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm only bringing this up. Like, is that when like evil, like when evil thought takes the majority and just nature, maybe not even nature, whatever controls,
Right.
because nature can be like manipulated through sound, frequency, and vibration. Like every living thing can. This is how MK Ultra and Montauk program exist. Okay,
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's possible, ladies and gentlemen. You know, but I'm just wondering if that, because a lot of people have been talking about the rapture and and like there's a person I follow on X. Her name's Ashley. I can't remember her last name, but she's very Christian. She talks about the Bible all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me think that the way our society is going, it resembles a lot of the evilness in the Bible. And it feels like it's getting to a tipping point to where if evil does prevail, that is when like the reset, the rapture, the cataclysm, whatever happens.
Right.
But if humans were to, or everything were to go the opposite direction of what you would quote like time thinking is going to happen,
Right.
or what they think is going to happen. Because we all know if you look into AI, they have predictive capabilities. How far in the future they can go, I don't know, but they can literally predict how society is going to react to
For
every
sure.
single thing, from weather, action, emotion, political events. It doesn't matter. But my thing is to you, Jonah, is do you think that has any credence, like from belief? Because you're more Christian, obviously, than I am. I've
Yeah.
never considered myself Christian in probably 15 years.
So you said a lot there. I want to try to
I
distill a little
know,
bit.
I know.
But
Welcome,
it was great
welcome.
though. Yeah, it was great.
My brain.
So because we've already talked a little bit about the resets for a second,
Yeah,
I want to address first what you said about God saying Jesus came to tell everybody that they don't need to go to a church or a temple. Now the message was because is the Jewish faith at the time was very that one temple location,
Right.
right? Whereas so my understanding of Catholic belief and teaching is that and of how things are, even with in the Aristotelian perspective, is that baptism actually has a real effect on our souls that animate these bodies, and there's an indwelling of the Trinity in a different way. God comes into our hearts in a different and more powerful and present way. So no longer did we need a temple to go to. And to this day, actually, baptism is one of the few sacraments in the church that you don't need a priest. I've baptized people before. You don't need a priest to baptize. So, so that's one thought. But that doesn't mean, because of how community is so important to the human psyche. We're social animals, as Aristotle says,
Right.
right? So
Yep.
we need community. So church is a place for us to come united as a community. But what do you need to have a united community? You have to have a leader. And so the whole point of the ecclesiastical structure is to lead the people of God as one towards the truth. So that's the intention. Obviously, there's corrupt leaders, there's bad priests, there's bad. So that's
Right.
not to take away the human imperfection element, which is very important to
Right.
remember. Which that would be the final point to just kind of wrap everything up and connect it back to the whole resets that you said.
Mhm.
How I understand, and I don't think I'm alone in this, I think this is a fairly common Catholic understanding. In fact, I think it was originally St. Thomas who said this, but when in Genesis, when it's in the very beginning, when it says when God says let there be light, he's talking about the light of the angelic intellects. So then he gave the important thing is, though, that you can't have love without freedom. You can't have choice and free will without freedom. Um, and so if you're going to have freedom, some people are going to choose poorly or
Yeah.
choose evil. And so the separating of light from darkness was the fall of the angels, and he allowed the angels to reject him and become demons. And so that is kind of a microcosm of everything we've seen play out through history, where there's this balance of good or evil people in the world. And at some point, yes, God in his providence, if there's been evil to a certain fever pitch, so to speak, there's a reset. I totally agree. I mean, we're told of a couple of those in history
In
in
the
scripture
Bible,
even.
Jonah, in like in one of the older versions, does it, when it describes God, does it say Elohim?
El Shaddai, Elohim, and Adonai. There's actually three names in the ancient Hebrew
Right.
for God, and that is a reference to the Trinity. And in fact, I remember we talked about Aristotle.
Right.
So the way that he actually defines God is that God is his essence. What Moses was told from the burning bush was, "I am who am." And the word in the Greek Septuagint, the most authoritative ancient Hebrew Old Testament text we have, is actually in
Ooh.
Greek. It's ego eimi. It's the exact
Do you know
phrase that
who
Aristotle later said.
Amon Hillman is?
Amazing. No.
Okay, so he's like somebody we've been trying to get on for a long time. He's hard to get a hold of. He is like mastered Greek
Amon Heldon.
philosophy. Amon Hillman, yeah, with two M's, and he's been on major podcasts, and he talks about how he like talks specifically about the Septuagint.
I love it.
And he talks, it may not be in your direction that you're thinking. He's like, he's very controversial. Like,
It's
he's
fine.
on X, but he has like a very extremely small following. And I think it's because of this, because I've seen him on Danny Jones. I've seen him on a bunch of podcasts, and he seems like a crackpot, but he really knows his
Wait,
stuff.
is he the guy? He's like super Christian though, and
He's a I don't know if he's a super Christian or if he's Luciferian.
doesn't he have like 3-4 hour long videos all the time? Like he's
I know he's on
very
YouTube. Like the Lady
yeah.
Babylon is his YouTube page.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Lady Bab. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, but he talks about like psychedelics and how it was used way back when, and that they were doing some freaky freaky things, man. Like yeah, that's all I gotta say. But those that are listening, definitely look up Amon Hillman. He looks hilarious, but he's just passionate about what he talks about. You know who I'm talking
know who
about.
you're
He wears a
talking
big Pope hat,
Yeah.
like usually at a lot of his showings. Like, but because I don't think he likes the Vatican very much at all.
I'm with him.
Yeah, but I've been trying to get him on for a couple months. But yeah, he's just so hard to get a hold of because he's so
That sounds
busy.
like a cool conversation though.
Yeah, man. But you already know my views on the whole psychedelic thing and religion and all that. We talked
Yeah,
about that a
for
little
sure.
bit on the other podcast.
Yeah. Well, so I know. I mean, I think we could talk for literally hours.
I
We
know
are
you
kind
only
of
got like
we're
4 minutes.
approaching
Yeah.
my hard stop at 9 tonight.
Yeah.
But I wanted to. So one of the things that I have decided I want to start. I'm going to start doing is because there are some guests like yourselves that I just feel like we could talk for hours, and I want to have you guys back. I want to have you guys back and continue this conversation and dig deeper. So the idea is to have some at some point when it's not on a Wednesday evening, sometime that's easier to fit in everybody's schedules.
Right.
We could just get together and like talk about, have a fixed like hour or so on a topic, and then just record it and throw it up on even on both of our channels. But it would be a lot of fun to just kind of continue. So I'd invite you guys to that. That'd be a lot of fun in the future to kind of just continue to, because I really appreciate the conversation. I've got a lot of respect for both of you, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, it's hard to keep us on one topic for a long period of time. Like if we're passionate about it, we could go hours on it. But things always seem to lead to something else, to something else, to something else, to something else, to something else. So it's like it's hard to talk about just one thing without going into something else and like ranting. I don't know. Like this is why we're on this and that podcast.
I love it.
Like, yeah, you never know, man. And we apologize if we got kind of off topic and here and there, but
it's this and that.
happens a lot,
It's this and that. It's fine. No, actually, what's funny is I almost never, like, when a guest comes on, we talk about like maybe one starting point or a couple things we might want to hit, and we usually don't even hit everything we talk about initially because of exactly what you described. Like, it's just, if it's a good conversation, it should just flow where it needs to flow.
dude.
So.
Yeah, and we've we've talked to so many people that have different views than ours, and it doesn't make any difference.
It's true. It's true. It's great.
Yeah, we appreciate you bringing us on. Like, this was our first time like actually being invited to another podcast.
Yeah,
we've been doing
great.
this for a while, and this is the first time.
Yep.
Like
it.
Shipwreck on X has asked, but she's really busy too. And a couple of people have reached out, but again, schedules. Like, normally Zakk and I can only do an episode on the weekends because of his scheduling. Like, we no longer work with each other anymore.
Gotcha.
He still does roofing, but I still do construction. But I do pretty much a lot of different things. But still, our schedules. Like, when you said 5:30, I think I was home like an hour and a half before it happened, before we went live.
Yep.
Yeah, like we like
There
same
you
thing
go.
with him. So like
I'm
Yeah.
honored. I love it. I appreciate it, man. Any last thoughts that you guys want to share before we wind down here?
Go ahead, Zakk.
I'm just
Because I know you got to go here pretty soon. So like, go first.
I'm just ready to do it again.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I love it.
We really like these conversations, man. Like, I can't. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we always say we're half retarded because we want to leave the door open for anybody else who's curious.
Yeah.
And we're just like, let's just bounce these things off each other and see how we feel. Like, we've never really gotten anybody mad. I don't think.
No.
I don't think so. I think it's always been like a regular like this, man.
Yeah.
And that's why you never go full retard. That's why it's only half retard.
Yeah. You never go full retard. Never. Even I am Sam, Sean Penn. You
I
know,
love it. I love
retarded but smart.
Please don't hurt me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Simple Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. We went from ancient temples to great resets. Talked about Game of Thrones and Gnosticism
Oh yeah.
and other great TV shows and stuff. That was a great conversation, man. All over the place. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. You're a nerd just like us, Jonah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, I appreciate you guys. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
And we'll be talking soon.
Yep.
Absolutely, Jonah.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget, check out the phoneboothpodcast.substack.com where you can find every one of these episodes and all the different episodes from the Phone Booth Boys. So peace.
Peace.